So moving on to topic two, a lot of wrestling happened this weekend. Like I said, I pushed recording because I didn't know what to talk about. So there were a lot of wrestling events that went on this weekend. We had Impact's Slammiversary that happened Saturday night, and we had WWE's Money in the Bank happen Sunday night. So I'm going to start with Impact and Slammiversary that happened Saturday. Excuse me. It was a fun show. I'm just going to kind of give my thoughts on all the matches that happened, my thoughts on the event overall, who showed up, who was a big surprise, stuff like that. So a little context. I haven't watched Impact in quite some time. I think I watched it when Kenny first showed up, Kenny Omega from AEW, because they had that little tease. I know it's on Twitch. It's a little difficult to kind of fit that in the schedule, but I'll keep up to date on social media. So I wanted to watch Slammiversary because last year's Slammiversary, a lot of the WWE releases made their Impact debuts and were signed. So it was like, oh, maybe that will happen again this year. Maybe some people will get signed. We'll see some new faces, get some fun surprises, things like that. So that was my intrigue going into the event. But watching it, obviously, the matches and the wrestlers did a great job. So it was a fun watch overall. So we started with the Ultimate X match. It was Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Petey Williams, Rohit, Roju, Chris Bay, and Josh Alexander going for the X Division title in the Ultimate X match. To kick off the show, obviously this was smart. The crowd was really into it, and they were cheering everybody, faces and heels alike. Good energy. Little awkward just because of how small the venue was. It's very apparent when like energy died down. It was like you could hear a pin drop at points. It was very much ebb and flow, like ups and downs. So like when people were going, yeah, you could feel it, but those down points, kind of hard. But like I said, it's a small indoor arena, so like it's going to happen. It's not like a WWE, AEW where it's a more bigger stadium where there's so many people. Like there's not really going to be a point where everybody's quiet unless like obviously something went wrong. So just a nature of the beast with what they're working in. Action was great. I think production-wise, they got to work on their camera angles a little bit. They missed two spots that I knew of. They missed Trey Miguel's dive outside, and they missed Ace Austin's moonsault off the scaffold. The replay did show it, but the original camera angle, they completely missed it, which kind of sucked. We got some big pops for the Canadian Destroyer by PD. We had a super Canadian Destroyer off the cords onto Chris Bay, which, geez, that looked nasty. But the match was good. Like I said, it was a good starter. We had some good comedy moments. We had some good action moments. Josh Alexander did end up retaining his X Division title after, I think he was fighting Chris Bay up at top. They were both hanging on the strap. Ace Austin attempted to jump and just grab belt. They kind of pulled it from him, and then Bay got knocked down with Alexander holding on and retaining his title. After this, we're going to get our first mystery opponent for this match. It's going to be Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood against Matt Cardona with a mystery opponent. This one was kind of obvious of who it was going to be in their little replay before it, setting up the story. We got the tease of Slammiversary is going to be a hot mess. Shocker surprise, it is Chelsea Green that is Cardona's partner. They did do a fun little reveal with it, with Matt Cardona coming out first, kind of walking, facing sideways, showing off his ring gear with the brighter colors, and then we get the Chelsea Green video. He will turn, and it will be him and Chelsea both wearing half and half, a cleaner outfit, and then a more rugged, hot mess look. Fine match, nothing really exciting to talk about. We had a cup spot because they did a low blow leading up to this story. We had a destroyer from Green onto Myers, low blow onto Neil, and then the Unprettier by Chelsea for the win. Cardona and Chelsea Green will win this one. Like I said, nothing super special, but fun. I know she's doing some Ring of Honor stuff, so obviously she's going to be pulling double duty there. Whatever. As long as she can fill her obligations, whatever. Third match was W. Morrissey, aka Big Cass, or formerly known as Big Cass, against Eddie Edwards. Another fine one. I thought both the guys did really well. Hit each other hard. Hard fought battle. Morrissey will win this one after cheating and using a chain from his boot. So I assume there's going to be a follow-up there. Morrissey's still undefeated in Impact, so we'll have to see what the build is for that rematch or whatever it is for Morrissey to eventually take the fall. Next, we get a big surprise, at least in my opinion. We get a little teaser for a new superstar. We get a painting, a canvas of someone writing "Long Live the King," just in like calligraphy. We see that, but then after they finish King, in big print, they write drama. So, Aiden English, or whatever his ring name is now, is going to be going to Impact. Finally, this is like a year after he's gotten that release. Finally going to a major company. I know he's been doing some indie shows, but happy for him. Hope he has, success there. But he'll be showing up. No dates, no next week, anything like that. But the Drama King is on his way to Impact. Next, we get a bonus Jonas match. We had Fulton and Shira take the ring. Both kind of very angry that they were barred from ringside during the Ultimate X match, not help their guys. Scott D'Amore comes out, and we get the return of Finn Juice. So Juice Robinson and David Finlay come out, squash match. There you go. Not sure what the point of this was. Crowd seemed pretty hyped that Finn Juice was there. I didn't get anything out of it personally. That's okay. But it was there. So quick little bonus match. Maybe not even 5 minutes with like everything, intros, everything like that. I don't know. Next match we have was Moose versus Chris Sabin. This was another physical match. A lot of hard strikes, a lot of big slams. Sabin's going to take the win in this one. I think this match was really entertaining, at least to watch, like really compelling, just seeing the size difference and how they played with that. I think both guys did a great job and told a good story. Whew, yeah, they were hitting each other hard. That was a good one. We get the pre-show, / the countdown show recap, and we'll see Decay becoming the new women's champions, and they're going to do a little promo on the division, so we get that. Next, we get our next surprise in the Fatal 4-Way Tag. It's Vicious by Design versus Mac and Swan versus the Good Brothers versus Falaba and a mystery partner. Because TJP is hurt or something happened. Partner for Falaba turns out to be No Way Jose, or as they're just calling him now, No Way, because I hopefully clear that out or they'll probably get in trouble. Turns out to be No Way Jose with the conga line, same exact gimmick in WWE, but people seemed really excited. He seemed to be having a blast, so good for him. Once again, hope nothing for the best for him. Fatal 4-Way is traditional, so no super chaotic stuff. The Good Brothers will walk away with the win after the Magic Killer on a Rhino after a little bit of confusion and some scuffle outside. Interesting move to put it back on the Good Brothers. I wonder if that's going to lead up to something eventually with the Elite, just because all of them now have gold. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that turns out. And we'll have to see what comes up for No Way down the road, whether he's going to continue to team with Fala or if TJP returns, go from there. All right, match number 7 is going to be Deonna Purrazzo defending her women's title against a mystery opponent. This might have been the biggest pop surprise of the night. I think for me personally, it was the biggest surprise, like, oh shit moment. The crowd was loud. There's a surprise later at the end of the show where people were pretty stoked about, but I think this one might have gotten the biggest crowd reaction. Deonna comes out, all great, crown, queen, doing her thing. She's been dominant. They were smart with how they did this surprise because everybody was expecting, something big. They stayed silent for a while after they cut her music. Stayed silent. The commentators are going like, oh, I don't know. There's been a lot of releases. Who's going to be? A lot of chatter. Who's going to be strong enough to fight Deonna? and we get Thunder Rosa coming out. Holy shit, that place exploded. Really cool to see her there. I know, some people wanted somebody new who obviously was in WWE that hasn't been around, but like this was big. Obviously, she's been on fire this past year in the pandemic and even before. Really cool to see her there, and her and Deonna had a solid match. Very fun to watch. A little fun sidebar note, obviously Thunder Rosa's got a little drama going on with Dave LaGreca. We did get some Dave LaGreca chants in there. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, match was really good between the two ladies. Really good there. Deonna is going to retain with the Queen's Gambit move. After the match, she's going to grab the mic, pump herself up, and she gets interrupted by Mickie James making her return. And, Mickie, all happy, all smiles, is actually going to invite Deonna to NWA Empower, which I believe is the all-women's event that they're going to be having soonish. Deonna kind of says no, makes a little trash bag joke, and Mickey's going to slap her. So, interesting there. Like I said, the ladies had a great match. It's interesting because it's a delicate balance with, like, bringing people back. You want to show, obviously, excitement for the new people, but, like, I don't know, you want to respect your current people, too. With Deonna going over, that was great. That was great. She went over, elevate her status. But then the immediate, like, overshadowing with Mickie coming back and the slap and everything kind of took away from her win and kind of, at least from my perspective and point of view, kind of lowered her down. So, it's a rough call there, but anyways, we get some fun returns and surprises there. We'll get a Bound for Glory ad afterwards with the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling logos involved. So, seems like Bound for Glory is going to be a crossover pay-per-view. Cool. Happening down the road in Vegas. A lot of things happening in Vegas, it seems. Then we're going to get to our main event. It's Kenny Omega defending the Impact World Championship against Sami Callihan in a no disqualification match. Another really good match. Probably match of the night. Surprise, surprise. A lot of fun there. Callihan almost got an immediate 3 count on Omega after delivering one of his signatures. Callis will join commentary, obviously, do his thing of blathering. Stole Matt Striker's chair, so now Striker's got to stand. And we get right into the action with, like, obscure objects. We had a fork make an appearance, which gets stuck into the turnbuckle, and we had a pizza cutter. Pizza cutter will proceed to cut up Kenny Omega pretty good, and Kenny's busted, and oof, a lot of blood there. We'll get the return of the cookie sheets and some other weapons that we haven't seen, at least in my viewing, in a while. We get some brutal shots with those cookie sheets, and oh my god, I don't know how this didn't, like, affect Sami worse than it did, but a wet floor sign straight to the head, the sound of that just was nasty. Sami gets busted out open after running into a chair in the corner. He seemed to bleed way more than Kenny did. Then again, Kenny did use the fork, came back into play, digging it into Sami's head and mouth. So maybe they're playing into that. But Kenny seemed to kind of dry up quick and clean up quick. So there was that. Match went back and forth the whole time. Both guys were hitting their moves, hitting some strong stuff, hitting some, obviously, extreme stuff with the no DQ. We had a pile driver through the table. Thank God that table didn't break. They were both standing on that thing for so long. That could have been, that could have been rough and a botch. Let's see. So we had that pile driver through a table. We had a side slam through a standing trash can on the ground, and a power bomb through like not a 2x4, but like a big sheet of wood. A 2 count. It was rough. These guys were going all out. A couple sidebars. We, as the audience, we could hear Josh Matthews in the back. I'm not sure if it was a headset issue with Callis or whatever it is, but you could hear him subtly uh, through the TV, like saying they were going to do 2 replays and say this, say that. So that kind of took away from it a little bit. Like if you focused on it, I guess you could tune it out otherwise. But I picked up on it. That was kind of weird. I don't know what happened there. And then also, we had these big moves on the trash can and the board kind of back to back onto Omega. It was a close 2 count. Omega kicks out, and we get a funny moment. For some reason, this fan was really into Omega and like backing him. And he just screams that it's going to take a lot more to take out a wrestling god. The whole crowd just turns on this guy so fast and just screams at him, this guy sucks. It was just a real like awkward moment that this guy was so compelled to just go from there and like obviously voice his opinion. You know, he can do whatever he wants, but like, woof. Just really, really off. So yeah, we'll get a bunch of more hardcore moments. Let's see. I wrote out a bunch just because I was writing out notes as the event was going on. We had a tombstone on a barbed wire chair. We had powder to the eyes. We had a referee get knocked out. Pile driver on the belt. More referees getting knocked out. Good Brothers come out. Edwards and Sabin will interfere to take them out of the match. Callis is going to interfere at a point. Tax are going to get intervened. And to kind of throw or head into the finale of this match with Tax getting involved, Callis is going to interfere, affecting Sami. Sami's going to turn around and Kenny's going to literally throw Tax into his face to stop him. Sets up a V-trigger, goes from there. Decides to take his knee and dig into the thumbtacks to get a little bit more impact. Does another V-trigger with those. Decides, no, that's not enough. Takes some thumbtacks, puts them in Sami's mouth, hits him with another V-trigger, and that hits him finally with the one-winged angel on the tax, 3 count, and Kenny will retain his Impact title against Sami Callihan. So the guys did really, really well. Very fun match to watch with all the action, with the no DQ stuff, with the back and forth. Fantastic for both of those guys. It's going to be interesting to see when this crescendo of the story or the downhill starts of like Omega not being this belt collector. Like who's going to be the driving force to kind of chip away? Who's going to take Impact away from him? The TNA is a weird one because that was technically a bonus win. Like getting those 2 belts off of him, getting AAA off of him, and then I assume the AEW off of him, like everything and anything. Current status, I guess Andrade technically has the best shot for the AAA, or at least that's what's lined up for it. Hangman seems to be in line for AEW's, but now, like, who's next Impact-wise to face Kenny? Like, we did Rich. We did now Sami. Is it going to be Eddie Edwards going after it? Tough to say. And, you know, this could be just my limited watching of Impact, of, like, knowing who's where in the scales of things. It's going to be interesting. And that's even if it's, like, around the corner. Like, who's to say when this will kind of blow over. But that's if it's even going to blow over, because we'll get one more final surprise after this match. The lights are going to go out, and on the back, we're going to get Bullet Club logo, music, and we get Switchblade Jay White making an appearance in the Impact Zone, showing up and coming out for a stare down. Now, as he's coming out, he does have his Never, the brand, Openweight Championship on his shoulder. As he's making his entrance, I was like, oh fuck. Is this going to be another belt for the collection? We'll have to wait and see. All they do is stare each other down as Switchblade gets in the ring. Now this, after all this good stuff, this was the most frustrating. I don't know if it was in something on Impact's end. I don't know if it was something on Fight TV's end. Rough to say. I'm going to say Impact just because of a certain thing. They're doing the stare down. And we can see from the ramp, after a little while, a gentleman comes running down to interfere, attack, whatever. We see that out of the corner of our eye, and the screen is going to fade to the red and the Impact logo and eventually go off the air. While this is happening, we can hear the commentators freaking out because whoever this individual is running down, but their audio is also fading and getting cut out. Goes off air. Cliffhanger. No coming back after that. No like, oh shit, we didn't mean to cut. Just completely goes off. What the fuck? Turns out, thanks to Twitter and some people there, it was David Finlay. I guess Finlay's got a match against Jay White for that Never Openweight Championship at some point soon. He attacked Jay White. Jay White hit his finisher on him. Continued stare down with Omega and Good Brothers and Callis. That was it. Nothing else came of it. So yeah, this is a big question mark. Is this going to be setting up for a Bullet Club versus Elite thing? Is this going to be setting up for a Jay White versus Omega for another title belt to collect? Hard to say. Really big surprise. Really cool to see. It just leaves a sour taste in your mouth with that fade to black when things were still happening. I don't know if it was on purpose to kind of have people like, wait, whoa, what happened? And like go and look and research and like give them those views or whatever it is. But like that also is not a good way to leave your audience. It's just cutting the feed, I would think. Like, oof, interesting move. I don't know if it was the best one. We got obviously the big one, but interesting call to kind of cut it there. But yeah, that was Slammiversary. I'm really glad I watched it. It was a fun time. I enjoyed seeing these people I haven't normally see wrestle and kind of learn more about them. It's going to be interesting to see if down the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, if more people do show up, when they do show up, if they show up in Impact, if they show in AEW, wherever it is. Because obviously WWE's been releasing people left and right. Not that they have to, sign everybody, but it's going to be exciting to see where people end up. And like I said, I'm happy for No Way showing up. I'm happy for Drama King showing up eventually, especially after his long time out of a major company. Thunder Rosa's surprise was fantastic. Mickey's obviously great, even though it might take a little bit away from Deanna afterward in her moment, but cool to see, along with Jay White at the end, just making that crossover appearance, the Forbidden Door, whatever you want to call it. Cool to see. We'll have to see where that goes from here. But like I said, glad to have watched the pay-per-view. Hopefully, if you guys watch it too, you really got a kick out of it. And yeah, we'll have to see where things go from here with all these storylines and all these characters. Hopefully good stuff.